how much money did the podcast make, but I made about all or nothing. It doesn't have to be 100% exactly how the science says. This is my goal. I have to achieve it. I was honestly surprised. It was my biggest episode ever. Didn't happen this year. It's going to happen next year. Tom Hardy, you're coming on the show. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Elbowstite Podcast. It is the last episode of the year. All right, I'm hoping you guys are cheering at home with me, too. It's the day after Christmas. My kids are down. My wife is out playing soccer. I don't have anything else to do for the rest of the day. It is about, what time is it? I think it's like 8 o'clock at night, 7:59 at night. And yeah, I just wanted to sit down and do a recap of the year and what has happened, like for the podcast and some of the big episodes this year and some of the episodes you might have missed. So sit back, relax, and let's chit chat about 2024. I mean, 2023 and 2024. So, honestly, this was a big year for the podcast. I had some big episodes, and let's see, where do we start it off at? Top 5 episodes. I'll start there. Number 5 this year was an honest conversation about ecological dynamics in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with Kabir Bath. Episode 108. Fantastic episode. Love chit-chatting with Kabir. Like I mentioned at the beginning of that episode, one of the big topics right now in jiu-jitsu is ecological dynamics, right? So I wanted to chit chat with someone from the community that is pretty knowledgeable about it, and he's known, like, if you guys haven't listened, which most of you have, he's pretty knowledgeable, especially when it comes to implementing with kids. So that was really cool to talk with him. And a big takeaway that I learned from him is after listening to so many interviews with like Greg Souders, Greg Souders is like kind of like an absolutist when it comes to ecological dynamics. And after talking with Kabir, it made me feel like it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be 100% exactly how the science says. And we can kind of like, what's his name? Kip Dale's been going around lately and spreading his knowledge too. And so it was really cool listening to Kabir talk about it and hear how he implements it and how, as a coach, what you're supposed to do now that you are no longer the arbiter of all knowledge, So I really enjoyed that episode. If you guys haven't listened to it, even if you're not into the whole coaching science behind it, Kabir is just super knowledgeable, was a blast to talk to. And I think we chit-chatted for like an hour and a half, one of the longer episodes this year too. And it was well worth the time. I plan on having more people from the ecological dynamics like crowd on the show, because I'm still very much into wanting to know about it and learn about it. So talking to more people about that is going to be a blast. And maybe one day I'll see if Greg Souders wants to come on and talk with him. Because honestly, he is, he is the one that is like the know-it-all within the community right now of ecological dynamics. So I really want to chit chat with him about it. And that was episode number 5. Great conversation. Once again, if you guys haven't listened to it, go listen to it. Let me know what you think about it. And then number 4 was our episode with Josh McKinney and get inspired in your jiu-jitsu journey. His conversation was really cool too, kind of similar to ecological dynamics. Josh has his own mindset and frameworks for how to coach. And he does the designated winner, which was really cool to hear about because, he likes to play games in his class where, one person is going to be working and going to be the winner, designated winner. And then the other person is going to slowly, just offer a little bit more resistance so this person can build up confidence when it comes to learning the technique. So that was cool to hear about it, and how it's implemented into his training regimen, and how his students absolutely have loved it, and how he's seen great success with it too. And one thing I really enjoyed listening to him about too is about when he talks about how he is more of a theoretical coach now, or he likes to use theories or conceptual, that's the word I'm looking for, conceptual teacher. It was cool to hear him talk about how he doesn't go 100% conceptual with beginners, because he feels like it's a little bit too much for them. And I kind of have gone back and forth with thinking about that, because I definitely thought for a while that conceptual teaching was too much for beginners. But I feel like if it's done within a way where it's consumable and digestible by a new person, where we're not going deep into these underlining principles of jujitsu, more just surface value, and how you should think about, very simple, minor things that will always be there in jujitsu. I think that is very valuable for beginners, because we can as beginners, and I'm even talking about myself, because obviously I'm still a blue belt, only been doing jiu-jitsu about 5 years, but we as beginners or lower level practitioners can really get lost in the weeds when it comes to step-by-step techniques, when it comes to understanding exactly how a technique works, and then the ins and outs of it and everything like that. And it can be overwhelming for even the most seasoned people. So to hear, conceptual teaching, he doesn't like to do it for 100% brand new people, was cool to hear. But like I mentioned, I've kind of agreed with that, but kind of disagree with it now, because I want to make sure that I'm not an absolutist when it comes to anything. You know what I mean? Like I want to be open minded to everything. So, but then number 3 is with Jake Luigi, another great one, a white belt's guide to BJJ instructionals. If you guys have not checked out Less Impressed, More Involved on YouTube, Jake Luigi's channel, you are doing yourself a disservice. He does such great breakdowns of competition, BJJ, and how the top pros in our competitive scene are doing things, and how they're so successful, and how you can implement these ideas behind um, helping your game and helping others. And it was so cool to hear him talk about what his favorite parts of jiu-jitsu instructionals are, because I'm not a big instructional person. I think I've told you guys this before. I'm not super big into instructionals. I'm not super big into things like that, except for like Jordan, like I always talk about Jordan Pressinger's theory course. I can't speak about it enough, how much I love it. And if you guys want, once again, links down below if you want that. And to hear him talk about how to find a good instructional, what a good instructional has, what he sees in a good instructional, and then how he breaks it all down in order to get the most value out of everything that he watches. Man, game changer. Grab a notepad, start jotting down some stuff. And that was a fantastic episode. If you guys enjoyed that one, let me know what your favorite part of that one is too, because it was really cool to hear how he gets so analytical with his YouTube channel and breaking down of techniques. Number 2, it should be no surprise to anyone, setting and achieving your goals with Jordan Pressinger. Very first episode of the year, grabbed that first place spot all the way through the year until I made episode in the number 1 spot. And this number 2 though, Jordan, he's coming on the show again. He'll be on the show at the beginning of the 2024, kind of making it a ritual. Beginning of the year, Jordan comes on, chit chats with me, so we're going to have him on again. And the setting and achieving your goals with that episode, I was surprised not on how knowledgeable Jordan was with how he sets and achieves goals, but how he just is so diligent, and he's like, he doesn't sit there and he doesn't plan everything out. He just knows what he wants to achieve and he does it, right? And for some people that'll work, for some people that won't. But he's very much, I am going to do this. I don't care what it takes. This is my goal. I have to achieve it. When he made 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, now he's almost up to two. He might even be at 200,000 subscribers at the time of this recording. Let me check. Yep, at the time of this recording, Jordan is at 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. Crazy to think about. And so he's going to be back on show, and having Jordan on regularly is great because he's such a high level or black belt, and he drops so much knowledge every single time. And I can't wait for our next conversation. It'll be his third time on, most visited guest ever. But yeah, he was number 2. Number 1 was, if I were to start BJJ in 2023, here's what I would focus on. And honestly, I'm going to do this episode again for 2024 because I feel like it has changed a little bit for me. I was honestly surprised. It was my biggest episode ever, and number wise, still is. I mean, it blows every episode out of the water. Even episode number 1, of Elbowstite Podcast. It's the biggest episode I've ever done. And I think it was just me for like 40 minutes giving some tips on what you should focus on in my eyes. And I'm very grateful that so many people listen to the episode. Like I'm astonished how popular this episode is, and it makes me realize that people want to hear more of this content, this kind of content. And if you've noticed, all of my top 5 episodes are not the biggest names. You know what I mean? Like, but they're all like deep intellectual conversations about not techniques, not who they are as a practitioner, their competition resume, winning all these medals and whatnot. They're all people who are just delivering great knowledge to you guys at home and is providing a lot of value through your journey. Baby, the season for Fresh Cut is finally here with today's sponsor of the show, Manscaped. The leader in the below-waist grooming has launched their 5th generation lawnmower to help you avoid another silent night in the bedroom this year. Take care of your special snowflake with Manscaped and watch the South Pole shine like never before. Get the best stocking stuffer of all time by going to manscaped.com and using code ETP20 for 20% off plus free shipping. Mrs. Claus with thank you. I've been using Manscaped products for, like I keep mentioning, years now, and I can't say enough good things about them. I love them. They have been a game changer for my grooming and has helped me build confidence on and off the mats, knowing that I don't have a random mat charm or mat snack sneaking around in other people's mouths or eyes or whatever it is. And I can't thank Manscaped enough for that. Whether it's the Lawnmower 5.0, the Weed Whacker 2.0 no-ear hair trimmer, the Boxers 2.0, or any other amazing products that Manscaped has, I promise you, any man in your life is going to be happy. Get 20% off and free shipping with code ETP20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using code ETP20. Say ho, ho, ho to a well-groomed mistletoe with Manscaped. Thank you, Manscaped, for sponsoring this episode. So that was super cool to see. So it lets me know that you guys don't care a lot about big names. You guys want substance. You guys want to know and grow with me like I'm trying to do when I talk to these people. So that's super cool. I want to thank you guys for that because it makes me realize I don't need to have the biggest names on. I don't need to be like a lot of these other podcasts, not just jujitsu, but podcasts in general, where they're trying to get the biggest, baddest names in show business and whatnot. It's cool to see that you guys want to hear specific topics. You guys want to grow. You guys are, I don't want to, you say you're using me to educate yourself, but I feel like with this top 5 episodes, it's really showing me that you guys are trying to learn. You guys are trying to grow through the podcast, just like I am. So I appreciate that. Hopefully 2024, I can continue that for you guys and bring you as much value every single episode. Even if it's just a life update. Someone commented on Spotify on my last episode about how they love when I just chit chat about my life and how it makes it feel real and whatnot. So I thank you guys so much for that. But that was the top 5. here goes 5 episodes this year that you probably missed. They weren't the biggest episodes of the year, but they were definitely great conversations. Number 5, stop asking, why do I keep getting submitted? This was a 2-part series where I broke down like 10 questions you should ask instead of these generic, typical questions that white belts ask. And when in the title, I talk about, one of the questions was, why do I keep getting submitted? I think, all the questions that are in this episode are great for everyone, because a lot of the times we'll sit there and be like, man, why am I getting submitted so much? Why am I getting submitted so much? Instead of asking, what am I doing wrong to get submitted? You know what I mean? Instead of taking a mindset of trying to learn from your mistakes, instead, when you say, why do I keep getting submitted so much? It's kind of like you're not analyzing the situation. You're kind of just like, to me, it sounds like you're like throwing a towel, like, oh, why do I keep getting submitted so much? Instead of really sitting down and trying to break down why you're doing it. So that was a fantastic episode 110. It was a 2-parter. You guys should definitely go listen to it. And then number 4, or the second, I'm not going to say 5. There's just 5 of them. The next one you should listen to is my conversation with Jonah Weinhoff. And golly, where are all my metalcore kids at? All my hardcore kids growing up, millennials, where you at? You guys missed this opportunity to talk to Jonah Weinhoff from Bring Me the Horizon, Bleeding Through, freaking drugs. Dude, like, he's been everywhere. You guys got to go listen to him. Oh, how could I forget? I Killed the Prom Queen. Great conversation. I grew up listening to his music, found out he was a pro belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wanted to chit-chat with him about Jiu-Jitsu, fatherhood, Legos. Fun conversation, super down-to-earth guy. For someone that has been, at the upper echelon of music, I feel like I use words sometimes that I don't actually think I'm using them correctly. Let me know if that's not how I'm supposed to use upper echelon, or even if I'm saying that right. Anyways, so he was at like the top of the game for music and toward the world and everything like that. Now he's a dad, does jiu-jitsu, super down to earth. And I don't know, it was a lot of conversation, or a lot of fun conversation, or a very fun conversation. And I thought it was going to do a lot better than it did. Not saying that it did bad. All the episodes this year did great. Honestly, most episodes were within a couple hundred downloads of each other too. So, but the next one that I'm going to talk about is how 4 years and 100 episodes of podcasts have changed my jiu-jitsu journey. Episode 100. Once again, I kind of polled everyone trying to find out what they wanted me to talk about for episode 100, because to me that was a huge milestone. It still is a huge milestone, and to think of this is like 120. I think I'm at 121 episodes now. It's just crazy to think about. And so I wanted to do something special for episode 100. And so that's why I talked about how my life has changed because of the podcast, how my jiu-jitsu journey has changed because of the podcast. And once again, not saying it did bad, but I honestly thought it was going to be more popular of an episode. So that episode was a lot of fun. You guys should definitely go listen to it and find out how things have changed for me. And maybe you can relate through listening to this podcast. Next one, Inspiring Lives Through the Power of Jiu-Jitsu with Gustavo Dantes. 5th degree black belt. Runs the Jiu-Jitsu Tribe organization, helps out less fortunate or the people in Brazil in the favelas, keeping them off the streets through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He builds academies, gives out free gis to kids in need. I mean, that's a great conversation. Been doing jiu-jitsu, I don't know, 30, 40 years or something like that, like the 80s. Started in the 80s. Has a lot of history, especially in Arizona. You guys are missing out if you haven't listened to that episode. He was a lot of fun to talk to, and it was like talking to a piece of history. You know what I mean? Because he's a 5th degree black belt. That's a black belt for a long time. So he has a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience. Finally, the episode you guys probably missed is the love for coaching, competition insight and training while pregnant with Mary Daisy Held. She is a new mother, and you know, my audience is predominantly male, but I do try to make sure I make content for everyone, including, females, even though they're a very small part of, not a very small part, they're about a quarter, 3/4 of the, or not a quarter to a third of the audience, depending on episodes. So I wanted to make sure that I'm still creating content for everyone. And so she had just had a baby. I saw a video of her on YouTube doing a half guard knee shield, belly, big old pregnant belly, and I was like super inspired to talk to her because there's a lot of stigma behind women can't do certain things when they're pregnant, and to some sense they can't, just to be honest, and some things it's just not the cultural norm to see someone doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu while pregnant, as long as they're being safe and their training partners are being safe. So that was a fun conversation. She was episode 107. Go listen to it. It's amazing. Good conversation. She was a lot of fun to chit chat with. But yeah, those are 5 episodes that you guys probably missed because they weren't the highest numbers this year. Speaking of numbers, I'm going to be a little transparent with you guys. Okay. I'm going to talk about a generalized how much money the podcast made, how many downloads we had this year, biggest month, and kind of like what the money goes to for the podcast. I won't give exact numbers. I'll give you guys a rough estimate just so you understand, and kind of like where's the money coming from. And then I'm going to go into my goals. So for 2023, I feel like this is kind of frowned upon talking about your numbers. And I'm not trying to be, I just want to preface this with, I'm not trying to be braggadocious. I'm not trying to say my podcast makes a lot of money, gets a lot of downloads, because it doesn't. But I figured you guys might want to know. I've been doing this for 4 years, and I've never told people except for in private messages. And I don't really see anyone else doing it. So I want you guys to know. You know what I mean? Like, because then if I let you know my goals, because I tell you where the podcast is at now, I don't know, maybe you can help out with these goals for next year. So for the total downloads in 2023 as of the 22nd of this month, I was just under 60,000 downloads for the year. Pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that, but it's even more badass because that's over half my downloads, my lifetime downloads in just this year. That's how big of a year it was for me. June 2023 was my biggest month with over 6,000 downloads, unique downloads that month alone. Banging month. Couldn't believe it. Haven't reached it since, and it's just kind of like slowly going back down. I don't know what it was in June that it was a huge month. Maybe I got a bunch of new listeners. So just when you guys know, when a new listener listens to the show, typically sometimes it downloads all of the episodes. So I'll get like a massive spike from one person downloading 100 and something episodes. So that helps out a lot too. So if I get 2 or 3 of those in a month, then that's a lot of downloads, right? And then to be transparent, once again, how much money did the podcast make? If you guys don't want to hear about this, you can just fast forward. But I made about $5,000. The podcast made about $5,000 last year. Most of it was from sponsorships. The predominant one being Manscaped. That's why, guys, I know you guys don't like sponsors, but it is a necessity for the show. I can't do everything out of pocket. Otherwise, my wife would probably divorce me. So with that, that money, about $5,000, most of it coming from Manscaped or the other sponsors like Waterboy, Kudos Popcorn. Who else did I work with this year? We worked with so many brands this year. I couldn't even freaking believe it. But yeah. And then, I made about $60-$70 in merch. Merch isn't necessarily a big cash bank for me. I do it more along the lines to, I don't know, make it a little bit, but also so you guys, if you want to support and you don't want to spend something on one of the sponsors and you just want to wear a sick t-shirt that I've designed, then that's cool, or if you just want to listen to the show and share it with someone, that's cool too. I don't ever want you guys to think that there's any, obligation to support financially, because there's not. I'll still do the podcast even if I don't make a single dollar. You know what I mean? It would just be a little bit harder to keep some of the standards that I have now. Because like the with the editor, I spent more than $5,000 this year on the podcast, just on that out there, and almost over half of the money just went to editors this year between short form content. I have an editor now that does this. Dan, once again, thank you, Dan, for doing this. And over half of that has been through Dan, Ben, Fiverr, new logo. So that's where the money's kind of been going. And then also I bought some new gear, bought a new camera, the Sony A6700, bought a teleprompter, some wireless mics, some things to make content easier. And so yeah, that's about where the money has gone this year. But the last thing I kind of want to talk about are my goals for 2024. And some of this might surprise you, some of it might not. But number one goal is I kind of don't really want to do sponsors anymore. It's super cool to work with brands. And I never thought in a million years I would ever work with brands like Manscaped or Caldera Labs or Kudo Popcorn, Waterboy. Like I never thought in a million years I would work for brands. And I'm beyond humble that these companies are entrusting me to promote their products that I enjoy. Some of them I find out when they come asking for sponsorships, and I try them out for a couple weeks, and I'm like, this stuff is awesome. Like I had never heard of Kudo Popcorn. They sent me a box, and I was like, this is delicious. Yes, I will frickin' support you guys for a couple months. But I want to be completely crowdfunded one day, and once I get monetized on YouTube, or if I can start a Patreon or some way to get the community to support the podcast financially, I would much rather do that, because then I don't have to interrupt you with ads like from Manscaped. But yeah, so crowdfunding to be great. Number two, I want to start a Discord channel and get the Facebook group over 100 members. Right now we have been stuck at 77 members, which is still crazy to think about. I'm forever grateful of that. But I would love to get it 100, 150 members by the end of 2024. So if you guys haven't joined the Facebook group, make sure you guys go down below and join the Facebook group. I know a lot of people don't like Facebook, and that's why I want to start a Discord channel, because I also feel like a Discord channel is a little bit more of a live environment than a Facebook group, because you can have chats, as to where like a Facebook group is more like post and everyone comments on the post, as to where if you have a Discord, people could just chat. It's like a forum, or it's a chat room, like, AOL or Yahoo chat rooms or whatever, ASL, ASX location, you know what I'm saying? But so that's my goals for the Facebook, and I want to start a Discord. I just need to find a time to do the Discord. For the Instagram, I would love to have over 10,000 followers on Instagram. That'd be great. I'd love to have 1,000 followers on TikTok, and I would love to be monetized on YouTube. Right as of today, I was at 1,000 subscribers earlier on YouTube. Now I'm back to 999. So I would love to be 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, but the subscriber count doesn't necessarily matter. Just so you guys know what you need to be on YouTube's to get monetized, fully monetized, is 1,000 subscribers. 3 videos posted within the last month, and then it's 5,000 watch hours. So 5,000 watch hours is a lot, and I'm usually around half every single year. So I need to start making more content, more short form content, in the sense of like YouTube videos, and then start, hopefully that will happen this year. And if I were to make shorts, purely shorts, it's 10 million watch hours in shorts. Crazy, right? I would also like to start hosting a live, like, monthly show on YouTube or Twitch or wherever. I would love to be able to interact with you guys live. You know what I mean? I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be cool to have the community come together and maybe watch parties, or I could like review what's going on in the jiu-jitsu community. I can watch Instagram reels that I thought was crazy and share it with you guys, and talk about some of my goats within the industry or whatever it is. I don't know. We can talk about music. I don't freaking know. But I kind of want to have a monthly live, which would be a lot of fun. Starting next month, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Life is super crazy right now, especially working swings. So I would like to also be more active in the community with you guys, and that's why I kind of think Discord will help with this. I post maybe if you guys are in the Facebook group, you see that I have like their automatic posts every week. I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I have pretty much a post where everyone kind of comments on it, and we don't have all 77 people comments on it, but I don't expect that. But we have probably a good amount, 10, 15 people typically comment on the Facebook post, and everyone's pretty active. The active ones are very active, but I mean, I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups I don't even talk in at all. You know what I mean? I just scroll through and see posts. So, but I want to be more active in the community, whether it's on the community page on YouTube, whether it's a Discord or the Facebook group. I want to be able to have more merch and patches to give or trade with you guys. The way our merch works now is it's through spring.com, and it's order by demand or demand by order, whatever it is. So you place an order, they make the shirt and send it off. So I don't have to front any capital for it, but I would love to be able to have a stockpile of merch that I can just send off to people to trade, or say thank you for, being active in the community or something like that. I would freaking love that. That would be amazing if I could do that. And maybe someone out in the community knows a way I can do this, or has some connections with someone that can help me out with this. And if so, you will be the first shirt. I will send you the first shirt, the first mug, whatever you want. Another rounding it off here. Last two goals for 2024. I want to break 250,000 downloads, unique downloads for the podcast. We're about a little under halfway there. And that's just, I would just love to see that. Just means I've grown that much. And then number 10, didn't happen this year. It's going to happen next year. Tom Hardy, you're coming on the show. That's it. I just want Tom Hardy to come on. Or my praying hands, if you aren't watching, praying hands, Tom Hardy versus Mario Lopez, UFC Fight Pass, main event. Just saying. We could have like Craig Jones and Gordon Ryan on the undercard, or co-main event, because I think people would watch Tom Hardy, Mario Lopez a lot more. Let me know what you think. And who would win? Comment down below who would win. So thank you guys so much for listening and watching at home. If you made it all the way to the EBI overtime, let me know. Don't forget, check out all the sponsors down below. Go to join their Facebook page. I don't know, everything. Leave me a 5-star review. I got a really nice 5-star review the other day. Hold on one second. I'll bring it up. All right. So the newest podcast review, 5 stars. Thank you so much. I was so humbled by this review. I literally read it to my wife. Travis puts out an incredible jiu-jitsu podcast that always makes me rethink things I thought I knew. I DM'd him recently, and he was quick to respond, a thoughtful response, which was amazing. He is 100% real, and I'm thankful for his commitment to the jiu-jitsu community and for putting out this podcast. Thank you so much, Anchi B. Anchi? I think it's Anchi B, for that incredible review. If you guys leave me a 5-star review, I'll read it on the show. Or if you want to shoot me a message, obviously I get back to you as fast as I can, and I'll offer you whatever little advice I have. So thank you guys so much for listening, watching at home. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this year and had a blast with me, because I know I did, and I'm so thankful for you guys. So remember, no oil checks here. Peace.